Hi, and welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
And it's almost Christmas. We hope that your December is going well. We are, just a few days out now. And I'm stressed. I am quite stressed. So, I'm going to sit here and work on things, and Eve's going to go first. Grab your favorite craft, your drink. And this is where we just sit and talk about what we're doing and what's going on in our lives. And we're so glad you're here, and we hope you can settle in and get a lot of crafting done before Christmas.
and tell us what you're working on.
Yeah, we'd love to know.
Yeah.
All right. Eve is up.
Okay, so right now I'm working on Christmas berry. This is what I'm going to be working on while we're chatting. And it doesn't look like I've done a lot, but I put in some white over here, but you can't see it. And I'm just stitching brown and more brown. I had to put in the white just to stop doing brown. But it's a moose, so it's big. Moose are so cool looking.
They are, and they're huge.
They're gigantic. Anyway, so that's what I'm working on. And I had a new start. I started St. Nick's berry. I think I started this while I was still feeling kind of sick. So I didn't do a lot, thank God. This is all I did. This little spot right here. I know, impressive. I held up this, which is a berry, and like making sure that the fabric is big enough and all that, holding it up. Okay, and where down would I start? Because I don't have all of my templates and stuff that I use for starting my berries. But I wanted to start it. But I'm going to have to frog what I started anyway. Because I started it on the wrong side of the fabric. The modeled side is this side, and I wanted the modeled side. So it's a good thing I didn't have, this week I'm doing more frogging than stitching, so there is that non-start.
Half start.
No, it's like a non-start because I have to frog the whole thing. And then
It's a groff.
a what?
Groff. A frog. Backwards. Gorf. Gorf.
Okay, so I did some more work. I try to work on this daily. Crazy Stitch in this house, we do geek. And I was all happy. I was cooking, doing the word where over here. And I'm stitching it the whole word at a time. And I got to, let's see if I can point out right here. I got to the middle part where you put the middle of the H and the middle of the E, and I realized I left off half the H. The stick for half the H. I started the E too early. And so I had to frog the whole thing because I was doing it there and back on the whole word.
Oh, no.
Because I had looked at the whole word and went, oh, that'll work and that'll be faster. Right? Faster until you frog the whole thing. So I just have one line done instead of half the word done. I would have actually been like the whole word done if I had not had to frog the whole word half the word that I had finished. So yeah, the theme of my day this week is let's frog that. And then more frogging.
No. Oh my gosh.
So I was working this morning on under the sea temperature chart, and you see this little guy out here by himself? This row was the row I was doing, and I should have done this extra one because there's 31 days, not 30, so this extra one is out here. but I wasn't looking at the pattern. I was just making fish. So I put the next day down here.
Oh no.
So now the 31st is going to go up here because I am not frogging that. But I went to start doing this down here on the bottom.
And you put it in the wrong place?
I counted wrong and I did it wrong here. So I'm going to have to frog half of that.
What, half of what?
Half of this rock that I,
Oh,
right here, it's a rock that the
Oh, I
crab is
see.
sitting on.
I see. Not the whole bottom area.
No.
Just that. Oh my gosh.
But more frogging. And I just went,
You know what you should put in that pattern? You should put a frog in that pattern.
except he's not under the sea.
He's swimming.
And fresh water. So I was going to work on this while we stitched. And after I realized I had to frog again, I went like this, and like this, and like this.
And said, you are in time out.
I swear I went to Frogtown and built a house. Now, I'm a day or two behind on Silent Night, but I'm not as far behind as it looks because I was stitching the sparkly in the snowflakes. But I started the S going down. I don't have this blue snowflake up here, but I was adding sparkly to these, which is easier said than done because the thread I'm using, and I don't have it here to show you, it's virtually invisible. It's sparkly, I can see it like against the black, but once I start putting it on the white, unless I look carefully, is that shiny yet? I have to keep real good track of where I am. And have I done that one yet? I don't know. Let me see. Is it sparkly? So it takes a minute to do it. But I want to do it now while I have all of these snowflakes done before I continue down here and put more snowflakes. So I stopped to do that. But I didn't work on it today.
Like a blizzard.
It is a blizzard. This pattern, the amount of snowflakes on this pattern, and snowflakes are such a pain to stitch because they're random.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people always do them, you know, the same on the top and the bottom, but one snowflake doesn't necessarily look like the other snowflake. So they're very random. And then of course they're in random spots, and then she goes back and forth between blue snowflakes or white snowflakes with blue middles. And I noticed when I was stitching this morning, I noticed that a white snowflake that's supposed to have a blue middle has a white middle. Ask me if I'm going to frog that. I am not. I'm just going to leave it white. And if you're later on, when I finally finish this thing, and you're looking at it and you go, that one snowflake doesn't have a blue center, you know, you're not my friend. Leave me alone. If you can hear that, it's the dog.
Come here, dog.
So I was working on this because they aired another video today. And again, I decided to add some sparkle to the, oh, I have that thread here. You can see how invisible it is. I am holding thread in my hand. Okay, it's very shiny, but very difficult to see. But I'm adding sparkle to the snowflakes that I haven't put it, and then I'm going to have to add sparkle to the roof. And I thought I'd do that right now, rather than continuing on with the color. So yes, I worked on that. It just, no, you can't see anything that I did. Maybe I'll put a picture of the thread against the fabric so you can see how how it looks. And I worked some more on Tiny Modernist, Cute Crocodile, and I finished his little foot, and then I added this side over here. So I finished this foot, and then I added this side. Not a lot, but you know, just 2 threads. And then
Hank. Now he's chewing his foot. Sorry. Sorry for the dog sounds.
And then lastly, of my cross stitch, I did 2 threads on Mini Snowman Snuggles, Heaven and Earth Designs. And they were very dark, so I don't know if you remember what it looked like last time, probably not, but you can actually see the difference because the threads are dark.
Mm-hmm.
You start seeing tree limbs coming
Yeah.
in. So,
That's nice.
you know, kind of sort of see. And then for fun, I started crocheting these snowflakes. They can be coasters or they can be ornaments, you know,
Those are cute.
and they're sparkly.
Those are very cute.
It's cotton yarn, but it has a sparkle thread running
that's
through
fun.
it. Yeah. And then I liked my aunt's market bag so bad. I made another one. So good. Well, I made another one.
That's cute.
This was a different pattern. I chose there's a whole gob of market bag patterns, and I just chose a different one because they're free tutorials on YouTube, and I just picked a different one. So this has this beautiful
Like triangle stitch. Or
V stitches. Yeah. So, and then of course the edging, I just added some color for pop.
nice.
And then on my blanket,
It's hooked on the chair.
okay. I am in the middle. It's a modified cupcake stitch. I have to figure out where the end is here. So for fun, I took this and I spread it out on a big chair that we have so I could just look at the whole thing. And my son had never really looked at the whole thing. He goes, that's really beautiful. So, see the little Santa hats forming here?
Oh, I see.
And they're going to have little pom-poms at the top.
Cute.
Not real pom-poms. White. Can you see them?
It's kind of hard to see with the light behind him. You know, Eve, maybe we should, are you almost done?
I have this row and then 2 or 3 more, this pattern and then 2 or 3 more.
Oh, okay.
And then I want to do like a little video of it, somebody
Yeah.
holding it, and you could look at the whole
Yeah,
thing.
so you can see the whole thing.
because
Yeah.
It's really cool.
it's I pinned it.
Oh.
So
It's really neat.
I'm
It's fun.
I'm glad I started this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. And
When did you start this? So we can go back
September?
to the videos. Yeah.
something like September, maybe August.
Then do you have a border? on
There's
the
a
other
border.
side?
And I was just about to say the border, I don't remember, but but I think she did like 3 different yarns going across. But I was thinking I would use this Christmas
sparkly.
color,
Uh-huh.
that sparkly Christmas color, and buy enough of it, buy more, so that I could just do the border in that because it would give the
So
same.
you go all the way up the side and across the bottom. I see.
Yeah,
I
all
see.
the way around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part for me. Like,
Yeah, because you want to be done.
Yeah.
It's like quilting, you know, you want to put, you're all done, you want to, I don't want to put the border on.
It reminds me of Grandma because she was always, you know, when she made those big Afghans for each of us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she was just constantly, you know,
Going.
yeah.
But, you know,
That's an
I'm learning,
accomplishment, Eve.
I'm learning all these different types of stitches. You know what the last stitch is? Little angels.
Go to the top. At the top.
Right at the top, little angels. Yeah, so I'm kind of excited. That's me.
That's cool. All right, Beth, I think you're next.
Okay, let me just put this thread here. Okay, so earlier,
I have a drinking problem.
last week I talked about the festive for what? No, the winter woods of Biscornu. I was trying to call it Western Woods, but it's Winter Woods, Biscornu. And we talked about the birds with the bent leg, the bird with the bent legs.
Sorry about
To make 'em fit.
We didn't do a close-up picture.
Yeah,
We forgot.
but I do have a picture we'll insert at the end here of my bent leg cardinal.
We'll
But-
insert it right here.
Yeah. So I did my 7 day. Well, that was for my class. Yeah. So I finished working on it after the bird debacle. But
You didn't finish it. You just
no, I just
continued working on it.
stopped working on it. Yeah. But as a matter of fact, let me just check something real quick here. Yeah, so, and I showed the reindeer because I did 7 days on the reindeer. Yeah, and so for WIP-GO this month we had 3 WIP-GO calls. So my 7-day WIP calls were the reindeer and Festive Forest, which was the blue flower class I had last year at the Jingle Ball. So that was on my WIP-GO list. And then the other one was a new start of another class I took last year at the Jingle Ball, the Up on the Rooftop stockings, the little miniature ornament-sized little stockings. So so I had one of the 3 left. So I'm using that as my WIP/new start for my 7-day goals, right? Those 3 things. So then also I have 3 new starts, right? So the blue penguins that I showed, his little part of his head, they have no specific goal, so I consider that done. But then the other 2 new starts I have are one of the quirky Christmas patterns, and I had on here the 2024 Prairie School Santa. But I have a little bit of a dilemma because in contemplating the Santa and all that, I'm kind of unenthusiastic about it. I want to do it, but at the same time, I really don't want to. I'm sort of over my.
WIP-GO is in a straitjacket.
Yeah, but I'm sort of over my Prairie Schooler Santa thing, because once upon a time, when I first started stitching them, I bought 3 or 4 of them, I guess, and I think the first one I did I gave to you as a little pillow, and I stitched I think 2 other ones. I did the one with the north wind where he's got a little bunny hanging on his legs and the ears are flat flying back in the wind. And I did the one with the polar bear, the one with the bunny, with the wind, and I think I did one other one. But anyway, so I have like 2 or 3 others of the Prairie Schooler Santa patterns, and so I picked one of them. The other ones might be in storage and my other stuff. But anyway, so I picked one of them for my WIP-GO chart. But I kind of, as I looked at it, I've just been kind of, meh, you know, about it. And I thought I had it here, and now I can't find it. Anyway, so I'm debating whether or not I'm going to actually work on it. Here it is. So this is the Santa I was going to do. And this one is actually, it's not that difficult because it's, you know, of course the Santa, there's lots and lots of red and white stitching, but he's got a little horse and a heart, right, that he's holding. And then there's a bunch of backstitched trees around him. And so it's relatively easy. Oh, and it has the word Noel is backstitched also, I think. So it's relatively easy as far as it goes. Like there's one Prairie School Santa that like has a whole bunch of animals, you know, and it's just kind of a lot of stitching. But this is not that difficult, but I just am kind of.
Well, then don't do it.
Yeah. So I'm kind of not enamored of it. So
He's cute, but I don't even want to do him. and I like collect Santas. Like,
Yeah.
you know what it is for me? Mm-hmm. I don't like his coat.
yeah, he's got those sort of big hips.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
So
No offense.
So I worked on last year. I worked on the. I had it right here in my hand, and I pulled it out. Twin Peak Primitives, Quirky Christmas. They had apparently this started with they had a Quirky Animals or something like that pattern some time ago, and then they did the Quirky Christmas pattern last year. So this is the pattern. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
They came out with another quirky
Yeah.
something recently.
Yeah, they came up with a new quirky something or other pattern. But anyway, so this is the one from last Christmas, and I did Nicholas, and I was trying to just figure out if he was finished because he looks finished, but he's not. Because I was looking more closely at it, and there's some backstitch stuff that has to backstitch and French knots and things that have to go here. And now when I look at it closer, yeah, it's all this stuff. There's a bunch of little backstitching and things that go in his hat here, and there's this little square here that has to have backstitch and French knots or whatever, and there's also like a Smyrna cross or something that goes on his glove here. So he's not quite finished. So, so this I have a piece of fabric. I don't know, it's some kind of I think it's 28 count linen that you know, I've got room on here for a few more of these. They're really not as small as, you know, I guess because this is 28 count and not like 36 count or something like that. They're not as small as you would think they would be. And I guess they're different sizes too, depending on which one you do. So this was on my list for WIP-GO to just choose another Quirky Christmas pattern. And I was going to do these, what they call gonks, which we would call gnomes down here. And so that's on my list to choose a Quirky Christmas. But I think what I'm going to do is, instead of this Prairie School Santa, choose a second Quirky Christmas pattern. And so there's an owl, there's an angel, there's Santa Lucia is this one here. There's an elk, Christmas elk, and I think a goat also, this one here. And then the three wise men, and then the Christmas tree.
The owl is cute.
So yeah, so they're all very cute. So I think I'm going to start one of these other ones so that I'll have two of these Quirky Christmas patterns going on instead of poor little Santa that he's going to get.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel guilty. It sounds like you're feeling guilty about it.
But
It's a
so
piece of paper. It has no feeling.
but,
Santa is not going to withhold your present.
so I think what I'm going to do is finish Nicholas here because it's like I said, I think it's just backstitching and stuff that
Like
are
snowflakes
left.
or something?
Huh?
Snowflakes or?
Yeah, like on his hat and right here, this little square.
No, it's like, what is that around this like little, all this little
Oh
brace?
yeah, that
little
too. The
design.
little, yeah, I forgot. I have to do that too. There's like little backstitch swirly things around him. So he's not finished like we thought he was.
What's he on your
So-
whip to do?
No, he's not on my, I think, well, maybe he was earlier on my whip list. Let me see. I think as a quirky Christmas,
If it were me, I wouldn't do any of that backstitch stuff.
But-
It doesn't add anything to the picture.
It looks like it just connects all the pictures together.
Yeah.
yeah, see, I worked on it in February and I wrote here that I finished it, but I didn't finish it.
You lied.
I lied. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna do more quirky Christmas patterns. As soon as I, choose which ones I'm gonna work on. I'm gonna finish Porter's Nicholas. There's a dog going crazy. So, so one of my WIP-GO calls for this month was the Blue Flowers Festive Forest. This is also a class I took last Christmas, at the Jingle Ball.
I took
The Festive Forest Blue Flower, what we call the muffin. And so last time I worked on it, I had stopped. I did as much as I could because it called for Roxy Floss colors and Cottage Garden Threads, Weeks Dye Works, and DMC. And so I didn't have the Cottage Garden Threads, but I worked on it with some of the other ones. Anyway, so now I have all the threads I need, and so when I picked this up, I worked on all these animals and leaves and things like that. I filled it all in on this first section. So this first section is done, and so right now I'm working on. I did a bunch of these, pine bough things and some of the animals. And I still have this, it's a big complicated kind of tree thing. There's two green colors and actually on the pattern, because the pattern is black and white, it's kind of hard to tell, like, what am I looking at? Or, hard to see. It's not hard to see it once it's stitched. You can see the two different greens very easily, but it's just hard to see on the pattern. But anyway, but right now, and I did this little hedgehog, and right now I'm just working across the bottom, this bottom line here. but I have the goal is 7 days, and I've done 6 of the 7, and I just kind of stopped for a second. But so I may do the 7th day, like just tomorrow or whatever, this weekend. So it's I'm gonna see if I can maybe get this other half of this triangle done, and be finished with 2 of the however many 6 triangles. So yeah, that's Festive Forest by the Blue Flower. Oh, I did this other cardinal, this yellow cardinal, and this squirrel. I did a little squirrel because he was cute and easy. So I think I did all. Are these all the animals? Yeah, there's like a big flower thing on this side, but all these 3 animals, the hedgehog, the squirrel, and the cardinal, are all the animals in this section. But so I have one more day of stitching to go on that to meet my goal.
What are you close to an 1/8 done?
I don't even know.
Does it have 8 sides?
No, 6. 6 of these triangles.
Close to a 6th then.
But, excuse me. So then my other, excuse me, WIP-GO call is the Up on the Rooftop Stockings. And this was this is my other WIP-GO, Jingle Ball class from last year. This is by Lindy Stitches. And these little miniature stockings you make into ornaments, and you can hang them. They have this little rick-rack hangers and all that stuff. So she, went through how to finish it, and I took copious notes because I wasn't ready to finish anything. This is, last Christmas we had already put all of our finishing stuff in storage and all that, so I didn't have any way to work on them. Plus it was the middle of Christmas, and didn't do any of that. So anyway, so I have finished the cardinal and the reindeer stocking, and so all I had left was Santa on the Rooftop stocking, and so I started that yesterday. I just got a wild hair and decided to start. So this is the fabric that I have the the other two on. There's a cardinal, and I did the deer upside down here. I think, no I didn't. Yeah, so I have the cardinals here and the deer, and this is where I'm doing the Santa here. And so this is just the end of the rooftop that he's on. And right now I'm working on the shingles on the roof. And so there's Santa going down the chimney, and he's got a bunch of gifts. There, here. So, and the other ones, these other patterns I did in maybe 3 days or something like that. So I'm hoping that that I can get this finished. It's a lot more stitching. It's a little more dense stitching than the other stockings. But I'm hoping that, because it's going really pretty quickly, that that I'll make good progress on that very soon. So I think that's me.
Okay. My turn.
Excuse me. Sorry. Tubercular
Your
ward.
stuff is all over my stuff.
I know. I'm moving it.
So I did not have a very productive week because I did have a productive week, but not on these things. So I will tell you about my productive week in stories, but
Sorry. I'm looking for a piece of thread that I think got stuck to something.
okay, but
Sorry.
keep your scissors quiet. Okay, so the Afterthought Heel, I started it the other night, and I am now done with it. While we were sitting here, I did the last decrease, so now I just need to Kitchener stitch this. And for you non-knitters, a Kitchener stitch is a way of weaving the yarn in and out. See, there's two rows of... Are
Sorry.
you having a problem?
I'm looking for a thread. I don't want it to fall on. I think it's stuck to one of my other fabrics.
There it is.
There it is. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, now be quiet. So this is 2 lines of knitting right here, 2 live stitches, and you take the end thread and you make it long enough, and then you stitch back and forth as a pattern, and it makes it basically look like another row of knitting here. And there's a whole dance. It's like, if I can remember, I always have to look it up every single time. Knit 1 off, purl, purl off, knit. So you knit with a needle, like a sewing needle. You knit the first stitch and you take it off the needle, and then you purl the second stitch, and then you come over here and you purl the first stitch on this back needle, pull it off, and then knit the next stitch on the back needle. And you go back and forth, or it's the other way around. You can correct me. I literally have to look it up every single time. But then as you do that across, it creates another row of knitting. So it's like a seamless closure. And this is the one I did on the toe. So that's what I did here to close up the toe. You can see the decrease edges. I'll put a close up here of this picture. Of this stocking. And then to close the end, I did the Kitchener stitch across here, and think it looks pretty good. You can't tell that there was a seam there. I mean, you can kind of tell. It was not perfect, but so I am basically done with this stocking. After I do the Kitchener stitch here, I will, I have to finish the weaving in all the ends on the inside. So I did about half the other day because I was sick of knitting. I don't know why. And I did it in the leg. I have to do all the yarn ends that are down the foot here. And then it was funny because as I was leaving, I was thinking about this stocking leaving to come here, and I was like, oh, I've got to contact them and tell them, you know, that I'm almost done and that I'm not done yet. And I know they want it, of course, hanging for Christmas Eve for the new baby, who is not born yet. But so then as I was getting in the car to come here, I look at my phone and there's a text from Grandma, and she's like, I was just wondering. So I wrote her back and I said, it's not done yet, but it'll be done soon. So that's why when I sat down here, I'm like, I better work on this. So very close to being done with this stocking. And she's like, once he's born in March, can I bring it back for the name? And I'm like, yes. Oh, the other thing I have to do is put a hanger on it. I think I'm going to make, I was thinking I was going to make the hanger green, but it'll show up. The weaving in will show up. So I'll make it white. I think I'm just going to do an I-cord for that, which is what I did with the last one, I believe. It's funny, the instructions for this stocking don't talk about the hanger. I'm like, you gotta make a hanging loop. So anyway, here is the baby stocking. So that is almost done. And then I did not get very much further, if at all, on my temperature tree. And now here it is. We've got a week before the new year. I don't know if I'm going to get the tree done before January 1, but this is the beginning of the January branch right here. So I'm going to finish the trunk down here and then do this branch at least. I think it's actually going to be okay because the branches, they're not going to take long to make because they're just a few rows, you know, out each way. So, and I have a lot of time off work coming. I'm so excited. So excited. My daughter's going to be home. She's got to practice. So while she's practicing, I'm going to be doing this because I'm clearing my plate of everything else. So that is literally all I've done. I haven't worked on my gray sweater. I still need to, which I'm like, is it even in this bag? I thought it was. Yeah, it's right down here at the bottom. Because everything else just piled on top, literally. I still need to put the second pocket on my aunt's sweater.
Oh.
And block it. So that's going to be a challenge. But especially because I can't block it anywhere that Hobbs can get to. And I have to get Hannah's room ready for her to come home, which means it's going to get blocked on a table in the garage. But that's fine.
Well, yeah.
So, and the pocket will take me an hour to sew on, and then I need to wash it and block it. But, so that is all my knitting and all my projects. I'm kind of trying to cleanse my palette and clear things. I have that gray sweater that I started. I still want to work on that. But just kind of need some crafting piece for a little while. Which I can't imagine will actually ever happen because as soon as I finish things, I'm going to be like, oh, what about that? Oh, what about that? I'm going to show you a picture here. Hannah finished her sweater. She sent me a picture. She started a green sweater a little while ago. And I don't remember when she started it, but look. She finished it. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm so proud of her. Here's a wider shot of it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a real beautiful green tweed. She's going to bring it home. We're going to block it here because I know she doesn't have the space and stuff to block a sweater there in her apartment. So, So that brings us to question of the week. Oh, and I'm going to start it by talking about the afterthought heel. Hang on one second, because homespun let's see, it was Mary Passmore said that she has knitted 15 to 20 pairs of socks and never used the afterthought heel, and she said she thinks she's afraid of live stitches. This is the only instance, like I said, I couldn't remember when I made the red and white one if I did the afterthought heel or if I said I know how to do a heel, I'm just going to do it. But when I look at photos of it, it looks a little bit like it was an afterthought heel. So I must have done it. I don't remember. And I did it on this one, and I'm never going to do it again. I would never do them in real socks. In a craft thing like this, it was fine. But you're right. And for me, I don't like picking up stitches in the like that. I can't describe it. So I had put in a waist yarn, but I did it was dark, so on the white side it was fine, I was able to see them, but on the green side I could barely distinguish the stitches, and I was praying that I got them all when I pulled the thing out, and it was not fun.
Does it make a difference whether you're like on a big project like this, or a big stocking versus a small sock?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, to do that, if that had been sock yarn, it would have been a lot harder.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't like them. So I like doing regular, if I'm hand knitting like a flap heel, I like those. I just like the way they look and the shape of them. I've also done German short row heels, which is super easy. But I would never do another one. Okay, so question of the week.
Sorry, I was laughing at the dog, not at Naomi.
Last week we asked kind of what are your Christmas plans, and Homespun in Wales said that they keep it very low key, and they're going to go walk up a mountain there in Wales. It sounds beautiful, and have a picnic at the top, and then or they'll go to the beach if the weather is not good. And then with their dogs, and then they're going to come back, light the fire, and settle down for a nice evening of seafood and lobster. That sounds really nice. Mm-hmm. Mary Passmore says that they're going to the granddaughters' Christmas programs, and going to the in-laws after that, and son and daughter-in-law's house, and so just visiting family. That's great. And then this week, we don't really have a question. We just want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas, and hope that you have a great week.
Yes, and a safe week.
Safe, and not too chilly, but just enough chill for it to feel like Christmas, unlike here. So we hope you have a great, great week. If you want to share about what you're working on, that would be great. If you want to share about your Christmas week, that would also be great. And we're going to launch into stories, and I'm going to monopolize. No, I'm just kidding. I've had a crazy week because I'm stupid. Okay.
Did you want us to disagree with you?
You don't have to. You don't have to, because I know how you think of me. And anyway, I'm not stupid. I'm crazy, and I do this to myself all the time. And in the middle of it, I think, why am I doing this to myself? But then when it's all done, I'm like, that's why, because it's fun. Okay, here's my story. Long ago, I was like, I'm working in this new place. I've been here 6 months, and we have a small staff. Okay? So at the Symphony, it was a big staff. So we did like a Christmas party, and I brought cookies. I would make my spritz cookies that everybody likes, and I make those. But this time, I'm like, I have a small staff. I'd like to give everybody their own little container or whatever of cookies. So because also people are giving us corporate kind of gifts, right, to the whole staff. So in the kitchen, it's just tons of sugar and cookies, and like why? And then so I'm like, why do they don't want cookies? Oh, and remember, I was going to sew them things, right? So I was going to make coasters, and I was going to make coffee cozies, because I saw that. So I went and got the fabric and I cut everything out, but then this got in the way and that got in the way, and then I had to do this and this was more important. So I never really, I got the coasters done, and I'm like, why am I thinking of doing coasters and coffee cozies and cookies? What is wrong with me? So I'm like, okay, the coasters, we'll finish the coasters. So I stayed up late one night doing the coasters, and I got those all done. And I didn't take any pictures of them, stupidly, so I'm sorry. They were very pretty. For the men, I did it was like an old world map, and it had like the old maps of globes and compasses and ships, right? So our CEO, I gave him one with a compass right in the middle. And I was like, I gave you the compass. Did it? Anyway, and he didn't get it. But I mean, he didn't notice right away. But after I told him, he was like, oh, that's cool. Anyway. This is dumb. So, and the women, it was these pretty, like, flowers with, like, gray words and
They
stuff
like the
behind
coasters that you've made us in the past.
them. Yeah, quilted coasters.
Yeah.
So I made those. And I fussy cut them. So I didn't, a lot of times when I make a lot of coasters, I'll do like a large 12 by 12 and then cut it down to 10 by 10 and then cut it by 5 by 5 and then, so it's faster. But these I fussy cut because I wanted, you know, a particular picture in the fabric in the center of the coaster. So it took longer, of course. And I got the coasters done. And so I was like, okay, let's see, I was planning to give everybody everything on Friday. And I don't know what happened. I had something, and then I had something else, and then I did something else. So finally, I think it was on Wednesday night, I was like, I'm going to make the dough for the sour cream cookies because that has to chill, right? And I'll make the dough for the biscuititos, and I'll start baking. Oh, I had Wednesday off. Because I had an eye appointment, it was a retina exam, so the dilation lasts for hours and hours and hours. So I took the whole day off. So I thought, oh, I can bake blind, but I didn't want to. I felt so weird. So I didn't do anything all day. So then in the evening, I finally started. I'm like, why? Why did I do that? So I couldn't sew, I couldn't stitch, I couldn't do anything, and I was grumpy and I had a headache. So I didn't do anything. And I finally started in the evening. And I thought, okay, well, I'll make the sour cream dough first because that has to sit in the fridge. Then I'll do the biscuitito dough because that's complicated, right? And then the other things I wanted to do were the, no. I also made my brown butter chocolate chip cookies. That
Those
takes
are amazing.
forever, and you have to chill them. So you have to make the dough, and then you have to scoop it into the amount of cookies, and you put them on a tray, and you have to chill those. So that, okay, I'll do those first. So I put those in the fridge, and then I made the sour cream cookie dough, and I put that in three package wax paper, and I put that in the fridge. Then I made the biscuitito dough, and I thought, well, that's not going to hurt anything.
That's all I can do to buy cookies.
So I did that, and I put that in there, and this was all on Wednesday. And I had thought that I would do all that and then start baking. And then my butter spritz cookies are fast. You just make the dough, shove it in the thing, boop, boop, boop. That's fast. So I'm like, okay, I can do that later. I can do that while those are chilling. But then by the time I finished the biscuitito dough, I was done, and it was super late. And I was up really late. I think it was like, and then I'm like, I got to finish those coasters. So I literally went and finished the coasters until like 3 a.m. Thursday, I go to work, and I'm so tired. I can barely stay awake during work. So I get home, but by the time I drive home, it's like an hour. The traffic is horrible. And then, Eli gets off work at 7, and then we had dinner, and then I'm like starting to bake at like 8 o'clock. So I was like, okay, I have to prioritize what I'm going to do. I can do the butter cookies. I think, what did I do? I think I made I was like, those are fast. I'll do those later. So then I did the chocolate chip cookies because they were all ready, set to bake. So I did that, and I made then I started to roll out the dough for the biscuititos, and those went well. And I thought, I'm not making the whole all the dough that I made. I'll just do what I need for the cookies that I had. So, I mean, the boxes that I needed to make. So I laid all the boxes out, and I started packing them, and as I went, right? So as the cookies cooled and everything, I was packing them up. So I did the chocolate chip cookies, then I did the biscuititos, then I did the sour cream. And we've talked about the sour cream cookie dough before. It is the stickiest. It's like cake batter, and you're supposed to roll it into cookies. And I thought that last year I had put it between two pieces of parchment paper, and that I had been able to roll it out that way, and that I did it. But it did not work. It was still so sticky, even being refrigerated.
I added more flour to mine.
I know, and I think that's what I'm going to have to do, because basically I just sat there on the counter and kneaded flour into it. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I think it needs to be a cup more of flour, and or just more flour until it makes a decent dough. Yeah. I don't know. I think the recipe's wrong. I think it's a typo, and it's been a typo for 50 years that Mom's been making those. So, and I don't know how she did it. I honestly don't know.
She probably added flour.
She floured everything within an inch of his life, as I remember
but
as a child.
Even so, Beth, even with tons of flour on the table and tons of flour on everything else, I had to actually knead flour into the dough before I could even work with it. So anyway, sorry, this is a family discussion you're watching, but so it was a disaster.
It's an incredibly sticky dough. So if you don't do something,
you could turn it. You can't even roll it into a ball and put it on a thing, let alone roll it out and cut it with cookie cutters, as it says in the program in the thing. Anyway, on the recipe, which was a printed recipe from a sour cream company or dairy. Anyway, from 50 years ago, so maybe more than that, 75 years ago, I don't know. So I fought with that, and then I was going to make my butter cookies, and all the time I'm thinking, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I doing this to myself? Because by this time it's like 2 or 3 in the morning on Friday, and I have to go to work. I have to go do a full day's work on Friday. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't. So the other thing I was going to make, after I made the Spritz cookies, I was going to make my Thin Mints, which are Ritz crackers dipped in milk chocolate or melting chocolate with peppermint extract. They are so good. The salt in the Ritz cracker plus the mint and the chocolate, it's just perfect. And I wasn't going to make those, but we have one of my friends at work is a vegan, and I thought she could eat these because I read that Ritz crackers actually are vegan, and well, the chocolate, well, she was, anyway, I knew that she ate chocolate, so I thought I could make these, so at least she could eat these, and the other cookies that we have, she'll just decide whether she wants to eat them or not. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, why am I doing this to myself? So I made the Spritz cookies, and then I made just enough Ritz crackers, Thin Mints, for everybody to have 3. I'm like, you're only getting 3 because it's 5 in the morning, and I have to leave at 7:30, or 8, at the latest. So
you were up all night?
I was up all night. I was up all night like an idiot. For something that no one asked me to do, no one was expecting, and nobody cared. Now, I will say this. The reason I do these things is because everybody loved them. And everyone was so happy and excited. And all day, like, I tried these. These are really good. I tried those. Those are really good. And
the sour cream cookies are a mess, but they're so good.
Mark was like, are there any of these left? Because I literally only made enough for the boxes, and I still have 2 things of dough for you. Mm-hmm. Don't worry.
Maybe we'll just steal her dough, and I won't have to make the dough.
You need to make some.
They were telling me last night, you should make some sour cream cookies, and I'm like, okay.
Well, I have so because I'm like, I'm gonna make these. So my thoughts were, I'm gonna make these for these gifts, and then of course I'm gonna make them again for Christmas. So I have to do it all over again. But I do have some dough in reserve that I can do. But but it was so much fun to do that, to give those. And everybody was like, what are these? What are these Thin Mints? I'm like, it's a Ritz cracker. They're like, no way. so right before the end of the day, I said, here's the recipe. And I typed and I sent it to everybody.
For the Thin Mints?
For the Thin Mints.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
good.
easy. You can go home and do it on Christmas Day or whatever and wow your family. Because everyone's going to be like, what's in these? These are so good.
Well, and it's not expensive to make
No,
either.
it's not. Well, and okay, here's a funny story. I bought a giant box of Ritz crackers from Costco. And I'm like, you can't eat those to Mark. He's like, but... So last night he says, just in case anybody asks, if you were to need all those Ritz crackers, is there any that you wouldn't need? I came home, no joke, found 2 empty. I mean, I woke up this morning and found 2 empty packages, 2 empty sleeves. They're the little short sleeves. But still, I was like, 2? Are you kidding me? So anyway, so that is my horrible story of overcommitting myself for no reason. Nobody asked me to do it. I didn't tell anyone I was going to do it. And I tortured myself for 2 days. But it was a lot of fun. And then we got to go on a staff lunch. And it was funny because we turned off the phones for, I guess, 3 hours. He told me to turn them off from 11:30 to 2:30. And so we all got up from the table and we made our ways back to the office. And right as our CEO was about to pull because put a sign up saying the staff is, the office is closed until 2:30. I said, don't pull the sign off. It's only 1:30. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. So anyway, we all went in. And then my friend came by my office and she's like, I'm not working until 2:30. Let's go to Caitlin's office and sit down and just have a chat because she has comfy chairs. So we go in there and pretty soon here comes someone else. Here comes someone else. Here comes someone else. And we were just laughing and goofing around. And we took a nice photo there at the restaurant. So I took it and put it into AI and made like an anime version. And, it was really, we were just laughing so much. It was really good.
But your office needed that time.
Yeah, we sure did. And it was really good.
Because you guys had a couple of stressful weeks.
We've had a lot of stress, yeah. It's been good. It was a really good day. So I was glad I did it. And everyone was so happy. And everyone was so happy to get the cookies. And
then you came home and went...
I did. I came home, had dinner, and I'm like, I'm going to bed. I have things to do. I have things I need to do. And then, sorry to monopolize the conversation, as I'm sure you've noticed, I'm sewing something for people in this family. And that I can't talk about. But I cut things wrong twice.
Oh my God.
And had to recut. Well, no, a long time ago, I was cutting one fabric and went halfway through it and realized that's too small. And it was from a fat quarter. So I couldn't, there was nothing to do. I had to go get different fabric completely. This was a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Gosh.
And then early this morning, I was working on it because I knew if I went to bed at 8 o'clock or whatever I did last night, I was going to get up at 4. But I was up around 6, so I started sewing. And I realized I had cut this one interfacing wrong. And then I had these squares. I thought they were squares. And because real small, the type says 6 1/4 by 6 3/4. Real small on the thing. And I was like, oh, I hope I have enough fabric to fix this. Because I didn't notice it until I had cut the interfacing the correct way. And it didn't, I put it on the fabric and I'm like, oh, something's wrong. Which way is it supposed to go? And then I go like, oh, 3, I'm missing a 1/2 inch from all of these pieces. So I had to cut them all again.
Oh.
And then I'm ironing. And then I'm like, where's the last piece of interfacing? I didn't cut enough interfacing. But I'm in the craft room, so I have this little ironing
That's like my frogging problem.
Yeah, this little ironing tray, and in order to cut, I put my cutting surface on top of it, and in order to iron, I take that off and iron. So I kept having to go back and forth, and I just this moment realized I think I left my iron on the floor. Yeah. Because I know it's plugged in, and I think it's on the floor. Anyway, so I had to go back and forth and kept, working on it. Anyway, it was very frustrating because I wanted to get everything finished and so that I could put it together. I still haven't put it together because I'm still fixing it.
So
okay.
That's
my story.
I was trying to work yesterday on stitching and stuff. I wanted to catch up with my Flosstube Frenzy stitching and work on this project and some of my crochet projects. I hit my head very hard on
We were at Walmart.
fabric display. I mean a
We
clothing
were at
display.
Walmart buying these T-shirts.
On a clothing display. I still have a big lump right here. And
Ouch.
I don't know if that's why or what, but I came home and I was like, I feel horrible. And I just crashed. I was starting to stitch something and I was like, I got to put this down in some way that's going to make sense because I'm not going to be able to work on it. And, it doesn't hurt now, but I don't know if that's why I needed to just sleep or what. But I mean, I felt so fuzzy headed and I'm like, I got plenty of sleep. I slept in.
Yeah.
What the heck? Well, I slept in a little bit.
You cleaned your car.
I made that yesterday.
That's so cute.
I had a work meeting and she always has a craft for us.
Oh, that's fun.
And so there was rolls of that burlap ribbon and little cones and pine cones and stuff. And she's with the instructions on how to do it. Pins. Ooh. And I'm like,
that's cute. I'm
having all this fun.
For some reason, I thought you had bought that somewhere. And I'm like, when did you buy that?
I did too. I thought, she must have gone to Target in the dollar spot. Or
no,
no, they sell stuff like that.
Yeah.
I had really such a good time making it, and then I came back, and Beth and I went to Walmart, and I whacked my head, and I was just like, after that, we went to Hobby Lobby. I was like, I'm not even going inside.
Yeah.
I felt horrible. And I was like, oh my God, I have to drive all the way back. And, but I wanted to keep frogging. I wanted to frog that thing so that this morning I would be able to stitch on it some more. I didn't frog it until this morning. I wanted to make another one of those crochet snowflakes. I wanted to put up a towel rack in the bathroom. I wanted to do all this stuff yesterday, and all I did was sleep from the moment we got back. I ate part of my dinner, part of my lunch. I ate part of my lunch and then crashed.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Well, don't hit your head anymore. It sounds like
a big bump.
Oh man, how did you do that? Were you bending down to the floor or something?
No.
I mean, I know you're short, but you're not that short. Walk into it.
The clothing racks come out like a X, right?
Yeah.
And on one of them, there was nothing on it except one pair of pants that was like all the way to the back. And I was looking in the shopping cart, and I stood up, and I went to tell Beth something or walk toward Beth, and just bam. And I actually went and told an employee, I said, I really hit my head hard. I wanted her to look and see if there was
if she had
broken skin or anything. And then I went back and I said, I need Tylenol. But I did not want to go find Tylenol because I was like, I was starting to feel really bad. I mean, when I say I hit it hard, it was like the cartoons where they show the little stars going above your head.
Oh my
Yeah. There was, I felt woozy.
Huh.
So she had me sit down she goes, we can't give you Tylenol for, legal reasons.
Right.
I said, I don't care. I want to buy it. But I just don't want to go find it. And so they sent somebody to get a little tube of Tylenol for me so I could, and then they brought me some water.
That's nice.
And I just sat there waiting for Beth to finish shopping, and which is probably why I forgot to go look for that other thing. I was just like, my brain just was not wanting to function at all. And I drove Beth to Hobby Lobby and stayed in the car. And then we had pizza that had been cooked way too long because it took me so long to get from the traffic in between Hobby Lobby and home was...
Which Hobby Lobby do you go to?
It's on Ellsworth Loop and basically Ellsworth Loop and Rittenhouse.
Oh, okay. It's out here.
Yeah. There's not a Michael's until you go to Mesa. But there's a Hobby Lobby. But Michael's is planning to build one in Queen Creek. I'm like, well, I'm not going to be going to Hobby Lobby anytime soon because we went once and it was just so far.
Yeah.
It's like,
Michael's room.
yeah, Michael's.
I was going to say one thing that happened yesterday when we were driving out there. The traffic was really bad, and
Oh, yeah.
and school, I guess, was getting out. Some of the high schools.
There's a high school on Ocotillo.
And so there was, the traffic was kind of backed up, and I could see up ahead. I saw a fire truck cross the lane, and I saw a bunch of lights.
Beth
police
asked
lights.
me what was going on, and I said, well, the school is letting out because it was time for school to let out.
And and I was wondering, is there construction? Is there whatever? But then I saw all the police lights, and then I saw that fire truck go across across the street we were on because we were heading this way, and so I saw it up ahead go that way to like a side street, and I thought, oh, there must have been a wreck, cars, crossing each other because it was very heavy traffic. But as we got up there was a car pulled off the side and a bicycle.
Oh, no.
And I kind of think maybe it was one of those electric bikes because they can get very fast, because it seemed like it had kind of fattish tires you see on electric bikes nowadays. But they were tending to a person on the ground there.
Yikes.
But where the bike had hit the car was was pretty dented, pretty hard. So and ordinarily in my experience, bicycles wouldn't hit a car that hard necessarily.
It's
So
probably an e-bike.
yeah. So
Those things can be dangerous.
yeah.
I've almost hit people on e-bikes just because.
Yeah, I see them going very fast, and
Not only that, they're not wearing helmets. They're-
especially like little kids. A lot of times, we'll see them, and they're like, it's almost the equivalent of putting a kid on a dirt
In
bike.
a car.
Right.
Yeah. Or on a motorcycle.
Yeah, and
That's what. There's an ER doctor I follow on Instagram, and she was like, "We see so many injuries from e-bikes and e-scooters. Like they have to understand the rules of traffic because they are going as fast as traffic."
yeah, and
I saw an e-bike with the driver riding somebody on the handlebars on an e-bike
Yeah.
at night
Yeah.
with dark clothing.
They treat them like a bicycle.
yeah.
But it's not a bicycle; it's a vehicle. Like
Yeah,
it's,
and I've seen young people riding electric scooters. Like I saw the other day, we were driving on Rittenhouse, I think, or Ocotillo. Pretty heavy traffic. But I saw these three kids, young kids that had just gotten out of, I assume, an elementary school. They were little, and they had regular scooters. So you kick. And even so, they were going pretty. There were two boys and a little girl, and the little girl was in front, and she was actually going pretty quick, pretty fast. And the two boys, seemed to be going a little slower, but but fortunately they were just the kick kind, not the electric kind.
Yeah.
And but I've seen kids on these electric scooters, and they're just like zooming around, and you're like, that's really pretty dangerous.
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be if you're just out there along with regular traffic and you don't you're not mature enough to understand regular traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, and also I remember reading a long time ago. I used to have a subscription to Bicycling Magazine, and they're talking about the idea of riding your bike, in traffic, in car traffic. And I did that for almost a year. I rode my bike to work when I lived in Little Rock. I lived downtown, and the office where I worked was downtown. And at one point, so about maybe 2 or 3 days a week, I would ride my bike to work. And I know one of my coworkers was like, aren't you afraid to ride it? And I told her, what I read in this article, and the key to riding is to be predictable, right? So you're not weaving in and out of like parked cars or on and off the sidewalk or anything like that, because then all of a sudden you're popping out into traffic and the cars aren't expecting you. But if you're traveling in the traffic lane with a car, and obeying the rules of the road and all that, then you're predictable because you're acting just like a car would act, and and they may be frustrated with you because you're slower than a car would be, but you're going the same way as the traffic, and you're stopping at the lights, and you're stopping at the stop signs, and you're signaling or whatever, just like you would if you were in a car. And so you're more predictable that way. But if you're popping in and out of
or can we talk about going the wrong way on
Yes,
a sidewalk?
yeah.
Because I pull up to a light and I look for pedestrians, of course, right? But pedestrians are standing or walking slowly. So you look for pedestrians. Okay, there's no pedestrians. You look for cars that are coming this way because you're going to turn right. And then you look back and suddenly there's a bike there coming the wrong way and just going to race across the crosswalk.
Yeah.
Because when I look for pedestrians, I would see anybody who was walking up or standing there.
Right.
Because they would be walking slow enough that I would see them. But a bike would not be in my field of vision yet, right? So I look and there's nobody, and then I look for cars, and then I'm going to start to go, and I'm going to check, but then all of a sudden there's a bike there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's like, it's like super dangerous.
Well, and let's talk about white lining with motorcycles.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh. And if those of you who don't know what white lining is, it's when a motorcycle
Lane splitting.
goes in between cars at like an intersection or something. They go in between cars to get to the front.
Or intersection, how about on the freeway going 80 miles an hour?
Yeah. And motorcycles, my ex-husband and I, that's all we had was a motorcycle. And the way you're safe is like what Beth was saying, to be predictable. And that means not going in between cars.
I've been terrified on the
Because
freeway
somebody's going to change lanes into you, especially if it's like a busy intersection or something like that. They might want to change lanes so they can get a better spot at the intersection, and they don't see you zipping in between cars.
And they don't expect you to be there.
They don't expect you to be there.
That's scary.
And here in this state, we have such beautiful weather right now for being out on a bike. It's not too hot, so you're not going to bake. It's not too cold. It's not inclement. It's absolutely gorgeous outside. The dogs are outside having their best life. They're just loving it.
Well, except for the one you heard barking because she was crying because she wants to come in.
Well, yeah, she's just going to have to wait. But
It's very tempting to.
But there's so many motorcycles that think it's okay because it's not against the law.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the other thing too about e-bikes and scooters and things like that on sidewalks is that you have the combination of people walking down the sidewalk and then somebody going a bazillion miles an hour on an e-bike or a scooter and basically running into people or weaving around them and stuff like that, you know. And when I was in Little Rock, there's a what they call the Big Dam Bridge, which is a dam without an N, D-A-M, because there in Little Rock, there's a Terry Locken Dam. Is it Terry? I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them. Murray Locken Dam, Murray. So there's like a lock and dam across the river, and for the barges and things like that to go against the current or whatever. And so at one point, this guy, one of the, I don't know, representatives or somebody, whatever, lobbied to build a pedestrian bridge across this dam. So that's why they call it the Big Dam Bridge. It has some formal fancy name, but that's what everybody calls it. But so it's basically a pedestrian bicycle bridge across there. And so if you're going across the bridge, you would go like traffic, right? So if you're going this way, you get on the right side, either walking or riding your bike, and the other way you're on the left, right? So you're sticking to the side of the road, so you pass people like you would in cars. And so bicycles, typically the thing you say when you're coming up behind somebody is like on your left, which means I'm on your left, don't come left, just keep going straight, and I'm on your left, so I'm right there, so you know where I am, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember this lady wrote into the newspaper, I guess, and she was complaining about all the bicycles because it's a pedestrian bridge, and you know the bicycles shouldn't be up there, and all this and this everybody's like, it's a pedestrian bicycle bridge, and so a lot of times you get pedestrians like walking, 10 abreast or something, and they take it up the whole thing, and somebody's coming up and saying the polite thing, I'm on your left, and this lady was complaining because the bicyclists would just say I'm on your left, and they I'm like, they're supposed to say that for a courtesy for you, but yeah, but so on the sidewalk, you have this combination now with electric bikes of just people going really fast on an electric bike, mm-hmm. and these poor people trying to just be regular pedestrians on the sidewalk. It's a
hard
bad
even
combination.
with regular bikes, but e-bikes adds another thing, another level to it. And
and a lot of streets have bike lanes, but people don't necessarily use them because they feel safer using the sidewalk, especially out here with these sort of very big, very high traffic roads.
Yeah.
People who aren't very
Well, let's face it, also because the motorists also aren't that great at making sure they give room.
Sharing the road, yeah.
We should probably go.
We should go. Yes. I've got a lot to do to finish these sewing projects. And
I got to think about making cookies.
I just better hope that Christmas presents aren't in pieces. Here, it's pieces.
Well, my shopping is done.
Well, good for you.
For
once.
I even got dog presents at what we were at Walmart yesterday.
All right. Well, I'm working on this, trying to get a little bit of headway before the new year. But I have like a week off, so I'm hoping I can just relax. I imagine myself relaxed and stitching, and my daughter's like, I've got to practice a lot. I'm like, that's fine. I just want to stare at you in the house and be that you're here. So that's fine.
We're getting up for Mary Lou coming.
Yeah, my aunt's coming. Our aunt's coming, and so we are getting ready, and we are going to have a busy Christmas week. But we hope that you also have a fun and safe Christmas, and that all your dreams come true, and that all your crafting gets magically finished in time. Thanks for joining us again. Merry Christmas.
Bye.